In the early hours of March 13th, 1964, on a street in Kew Gardens, Queens, New York, 28-year-old bar manager Kitty Genovese was stabbed while walking home. The attack lasted nearly 30 minutes, and the killer came back twice to continue. But according to a New York Times report at the time, at least 38 neighbors heard her screaming for help, yet no one called the police during the attack, not even someone who opened a window to intervene. This incident shocked America, and it also brought a psychological concept into the public eye for the first time: the bystander effect. When tragedy happens in a crowd, why does the common sense that more people mean more strength fall apart? The psychological mechanisms behind the bystander effect don't just explain many regrets from the past, they also have huge practical value in areas like public safety and workplace collaboration in today's society. Psychologically speaking, the bystander effect, also called diffusion of responsibility, means that when an emergency happens, the more bystanders there are, the less likely each individual is to step up and help. This concept didn't just come from observing the Genovese incident. It was proven through rigorous experiments by social psychologists John Darley and Bibb Latané. In 1968, they designed the smoke experiment. At Columbia University, researchers had participants fill out questionnaires alone or with others, who were actually research assistants, in a room. During the process, smoke was pumped into the room through a vent. The results showed that 75% of people who were alone got up right away to check and report the problem. But when there were other bystanders in the room, only 10% took action. A later seizure experiment further confirmed this. When participants heard someone simulating a seizure over headphones, 85% asked for help within 3 minutes if they were told they were the only ones hearing it. But if they were told multiple people could hear it, the rate dropped sharply to 31%. These experiments reveal the key psychological logic behind the bystander effect. First, there's diffusion of responsibility. When there are multiple bystanders, people tend to pass the responsibility to help onto others, thinking someone else will help anyway, which makes them less willing to act. Second, social impact theory. When people aren't sure what's happening, they look at others' reactions to decide if they need to act. If everyone else seems calm, they'll assume it's not an emergency and fall into the cognitive bias of collective silence. Third, evaluation anxiety. Some people worry that stepping up will make others think they're butting in or that they'll embarrass themselves if they aren't capable enough. This fear of negative judgment further stops them from helping. Important to note, the bystander effect isn't about human coldness. It's a breakdown in psychological mechanisms caused by the situation. Even compassionate people can end up as silent bystanders in certain group settings. In public safety, the key to using the bystander effect is to break the diffusion of responsibility, to boost people's willingness to help by giving clear instructions and lowering the bar to act. The LAPD's Active Bystander Training Program, launched in 2015, is a great example. It's for security staff and regular people in crowded places like schools and malls, and it teaches the 3D principle: direct, give direct instructions, delegate, assign tasks, distract from the risk. For instance, if someone is threatening others with a knife, the training tells bystanders not to just yell, "Can someone help?" Instead, they should point to a specific person and give a clear order, like, "Sir in the blue jacket, please call 911 right away," or "Ma'am with glasses, could you go to the door and guide the police here?" This turns vague group responsibility into clear individual responsibility, which effectively stops diffusion of responsibility. Data shows that in communities where people took this training, the rate of immediate help during emergencies went up by 40%. In 2019, when a robbery happened at a San Francisco supermarket, a customer who'd taken the training turned to a clerk nearby and said, "You keep track of the robber's details. I'll lock the back door." They helped the police catch the robber in 10 minutes. This is a classic example of breaking the bystander effect with clear instructions. In the workplace, The bystander effect often shows up as workplace silence when employees see unethical behavior, like data falsification or workplace bullying, but stay quiet. A 2022 survey by the Ethics and Compliance Initiative found that 70% of American workers have seen a coworker act unethically, but only 35% reported it to their superiors. The root cause is the same: diffusion of responsibility and evaluation anxiety. Employees think other coworkers saw it too, I don't need to step up, and they worry reporting will hurt their career. To fix this, companies like Google and Microsoft have rolled out anonymous responsibility assignment systems. For example, Microsoft added a task claiming feature to its internal reporting system. When an employee anonymously reports workplace bullying, the system breaks tasks like verify the facts, contact the victim, and create a fix plan into separate modules. Employees can volunteer to take one module, and all actions are anonymous. This design keeps one employee from carrying all the pressure of reporting, and it breaks diffusion of responsibility by splitting tasks. Instead of wondering, should I get involved? Employees think, what part can I help with? After the system was launched, reports of workplace bullying at Microsoft's U.S. headquarters went up by 28%, and the efficiency of solving these issues rose by 35%. In schools, the bystander effect is a big reason why school bullying is so hard to stop. A 2023 U.S. Department of Education statistic shows that bystanders are present in 80% of school bullying incidents, but only 15% of them step in to stop it. To address this, the nonprofit Anti-Bullying Alliance launched a bystander intervention training course, which is now used in over 2,000 middle and high schools across the U.S. The course doesn't tell students to bravely stand up to bullies. Instead, it teaches low-risk intervention strategies. For example, purposely knocking over a water cup or pretending to look for a teacher to distract the bully, or quietly comforting the victim and guiding them to ask a teacher for help. This design lowers the risk of acting for students, and it makes it clear that bystanders can make a difference too. At a high school in Massachusetts that used this course, the rate of bystanders stepping in during bullying went from 12% to 58%, and the total number of bullying incidents dropped by 23%. At its core, the bystander effect is when people's perception and sense of responsibility get distorted in a group. It's not a flaw in human nature, and it's not an unchangeable social rule. By improving how situations are set up, clarifying responsibility, and lowering the bar to act, we can turn a crowd from a silent barrier into a network of mutual aid. From the Genovese incident on the streets of New York to today's LAPD, active bystander program, and Microsoft's anonymous responsibility assignment system, how we understand and deal with the bystander effect has always moved toward being more rational and caring. After all, when emergencies or hardships happen, we don't need the hope that someone else will help. We need the certainty that I can also do my part, and that's probably the most valuable lesson the bystander effect has to teach us. Subscribe to my channel for more psychology knowledge every day.